So what did I think of Noah Baumbach's newest film, Jay Kelly? Hey guys, it's Brian. Welcome to the awards contender. After many months of reading about this film, hearing about it, it premiered at Venice, it went to Telluride, and it did not go to TIFF, so I did not get to see Jay Kelly until its opening night on Netflix, and I was really excited. I had a lot of anticipation, I had heard some great things. At least 3 people said, "You are going to love this movie, Brian. You love films about Hollywood, about the dark side of Hollywood, and how it can destroy a person even when they're at their most famous." And I like the performances of George Clooney. Adam Sandler, I think, is a dynamite dramatic actor when he wants to be. Him being a part of the supporting actor conversation, that intrigued me. So I went into this with a lot of high hopes, and here's the deal with Jay Kelly. It's a very good film. I enjoyed it for the most part. It's got some wonderful scenes and moments. It's got at least 3 great scenes I really took to. And the first half, I would say, is a great movie. I was really into this for a while. Unfortunately, I do think the movie runs out of gas a little bit in the last 40 minutes or so. It does have some weaknesses toward the end. I know some people really love the final scene. I did not feel that way. It's going to be hard to talk about it because I don't want to spoil the movie. I'll try in this review to discuss what doesn't fully work for me at the very end. But this is a positive review. I liked it. I would happily watch it again. It's got some great performances, one truly incredible performance, which I'll get into. It's got a nice travelogue atmosphere about it. I enjoyed spending time in all of the places the movie takes us to. And yeah, I liked it. I'm not coming on here to say, oh my God, one of the most overrated films of the year. No, Jay Kelly is solid. Does it deserve Oscar nominations for picture, actor, supporting actor, screenplay? I don't know if I would go that far, and especially because Jay Kelly is so easily accessible at home on Netflix, not in a theater, then you should take the time to watch it. I mean, I must say here, right off the top, this film I think would work better in a crowded theater with a bunch of people. I mean, the very last scene, one thing going for the last scene is that it definitely supports the communal experience of watching something together. So that was disappointing to me, especially after all of the news just broke, in recent days about Netflix taking over Warner Brothers. And, it's a little scary, guys, in the years to come. What's going to happen to movie theaters and physical media? I'm just I don't know. So there was a little disappointment, I have to be honest, watching this movie about movies. At home and not in a theater. But even at home, there's a lot to admire about Jay Kelly, the story of a man who's been very famous for a long time. He grew up interested in acting, didn't know if it would work out, and then he got this really big break that the film goes deep into, with a flashback and stuff. How he got this pivotal role at a time in his career that just made everything explode for him. 35 years have passed and he's still working all the time. He's still very famous anywhere he goes. People want autographs and selfies and stuff. But then something happens. He loses an old friend, a director, and he starts to wonder, have I spent my time the best way possible? He has 2 daughters who, he was never really there for. He starts to realize in his early 60s, man, he has been kind of an absentee father. How can he get that trust back? How can he get those relationships back to where they should be? So he shifts gears. Instead of starting a new movie on Monday, which he's supposed to, he decides to accept an invitation to this tribute to him in his career overseas in Italy, where he can see his daughter who is vacationing over there, spending more time with her and trying to be a good father again. And his manager of many years, played by Adam Sandler, comes with him. Adam Sandler's character of Ron, he has to drop everything whenever his client, his main number one client, Jay Kelly, needs him for something. He is spending time with his own family, on a tennis court, and he has to abandon them very quickly and go be with Jay Kelly. And so a big part of this film is what do we spend our time with? Do we spend our time just going after that dream? making something of ourselves, even if it means like putting our family second or last. What is most important in life? That's kind of what Jay Kelly is asking. And there's a lot this movie gets right. I think like the early scenes really ring true. This man who's famous has been doing it a long time, and he just doesn't have the fire anymore. He still likes acting, he still likes being on sets and stuff, but something is missing in his life, and he's going to try to find it however possible. George Clooney gives a very good performance in this. I know some people might say, well, he's just playing a version of himself. But it's very nuanced, and there's so many interesting little choices he makes from scene to scene. He's very funny at times. He has some nice emotional beats. You really get a sense of this man who has everything, right? The big house, fame and fortune, everything he needs, but it's not enough, At some point in your life, you need that love from your family, from your kids, and he doesn't really have that. So I thought George Clooney did a very fine job in this role. Does he deserve an Oscar nomination? I don't know. I mean, that's a conversation we can have. He's good in it. There's nothing like overly striking or memorable in his performance. It's definitely like the best lead performance he has given since The Descendants, I would say. Like in the last 14 years. This is the strongest work I've seen from him as an actor. So it was nice to spend time with him again in a role that's pretty rich, has a lot of complexity, so that was great. Adam Sandler is fantastic in this movie as the manager. I mean, his story to me was as compelling as Jay Kelly's. This guy who always has to leave his family so he can be there for Jay Kelly whenever he needs him. Ron thinks of Jay Kelly as a friend. They've known each other for a long time. But does Jay think of Ron as anything other than, 15% of his income? There's interesting aspects to their relationship. Adam Sandler and George Clooney are magical together on the screen. That's a pairing I never would have thought of, really, those two in a film, like dramatic or comedic or whatever. That was kind of inspired, actually. I really love all of their interactions throughout the movie. Whenever it's just them talking together, just the two of them in a scene, the film really works. And there's a bunch of those scenes, so I like that part. Especially one moment near the end. I mean, I won't give it away, but there's kind of an emotional scene, like from Adam Sandler's point of view. He throws something at him, and it's one of the best acting moments I've seen in a long time from Adam Sandler. Now, I still believe to this day, the best performance, male or female, of 2019 in the movies was Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems. He deserved a Best Actor Oscar nomination for that film. He won at Film Independent Spirit Awards. I still remember that night, that speech, it was so great. At least there was that. Now, 6 years later, we have his very fine performance in Jay Kelly. He might get the Oscar nomination finally, after all this time. Would he be deserving of that? I think so. It's not like a spectacular performance, but he's very good in the film. I really liked his character. It's a very appealing performance from Adam Sandler, so I would not have any quibbles with him getting an Oscar nomination for this. The problem, though, guys, is that he is not the best supporting actor performance in this movie. It's Billy Crudup. Billy Crudup has two scenes early on, and I kind of knew this was coming. A lot of reviews had said this, like going all the way back to September or whenever it was that it premiered at Venice. A lot of people were singling out the Billy Crudup performance, so I was intrigued. I've always really liked him, like going back to Almost Famous and stuff, and I enjoy his work on The Morning Show right now. He's such a great actor, and oh my god, they were right. He gives the performance of the film. If there could ever be like a Fabelman's Judd Hirsch surprise kind of a thing on Oscar nominations morning and supporting actor, as much as I would love to see Sandler finally get in, guys, Billy Crudup. I mean, talk about a scene-stealing supporting actor performance. His second scene with George Clooney is so complex. It has so many layers to it. It's like a roller coaster ride. It's like maybe 5 or 6 minutes where you think you know something about this old friend of Clooney's character, Jay Kelly, this old friend who used to be a roommate and wanted to be an actor, and he just never got his big break, even though his friend Jay Kelly did. There seems to be a sweetness there, nostalgia. Hey man, haven't seen you in a while. Let's let's get some food, let's get a drink. But then you start to see what the old friend is really all about, like what he really feels inside. And Billy Crudup, I mean, in just like 6 to 8 minutes of screen time, maybe a little more, like he really makes an impression. It's one of the best scenes in like the whole year. I was really taken with that. After Billy Crudup scenes, I said, oh man, this could be a really great film. I'm really into this. And then it just never quite bounces back to the power of those early moments. Basically, once Jay decides, I'm gonna go find my daughter in Europe, the movie, like, it loses a little bit of steam. It's still good and very watchable and entertaining, and it's still got, like, good moments in the second half. I didn't find, like, the rest of the film quite as gripping as those early scenes. There seemed to be a little bit more bite to, like, the subject matter in, like, the first 40-ish minutes. I don't know. I mean, there are some great moments on a train, like some very funny scenes there, and you know, once you get to the end, there is like an emotional like apex to the story that might work better for other people than it did for me. I kind of saw the ending coming from a mile away. I mean, my big problem with the end is that it just felt too obvious. It felt kind of schmaltzy to me, like in the hands of a different writer-director, it could have really soared those final 5 minutes. And I know some people are crying at the end and it works for them, and that's great, but it wasn't working for me. I was like, oh, okay. You know, I'll just say like something that plays on a screen. I was like, okay, that's what we're doing. A couple choices thereafter, I found like a little saccharine. I was like, okay, and it works fine. I don't love it. And then the last 5 seconds of Jay Kelly, I was like, ooh, no. Oh, cut to black. You know, I feel like I should be tearing up in those final minutes. And that didn't happen. So honestly, guys, I was leaning toward an 8 out of 10. But the last scene, it dropped my score by a point. Like, the last scene did not work for me. And I was like, oh man, this film really needed to stick the landing. And it doesn't quite do that. Another big problem with the movie, I have to say, is the Laura Dern character. She shows up for like maybe 20 to 25 minutes, and you learn about a backstory between Laura Dern's character and Adam Sandler's character. And it's kind of interesting, like on a surface level, but the movie doesn't really dive into it very deeply, and then it's just kind of forgotten about. In the last 30 to 40 minutes, like that subplot is gone. And so I was trying to reckon with that. I'm like, what was the point of all of that? You know, it's really at the end, Jay Kelly's story for the most part. Ron, his manager, gets some nice moments, like sometimes like away from Jay Kelly. Adam Sandler gets moments to emote and really create a 3-dimensional character with that guy. To be honest, like toward the end, I was more invested in Adam Sandler's character and performance than Clooney's. I don't know if other people feel that way. And it's not because it's like, oh, like why do we care about this rich, famous actor having a crisis? Like, oh my God, I wasn't a good father. What can I do? It's not that. I was interested in that. But there was something about the manager character, how he has to abandon his family all the time just to be this like lifelong servant to this other guy, and what that means to him, like what friendship means to Ron, the manager. And Adam Sandler finds all of the right notes for that character. I really liked his performance, and so by the end, I was in a way like more interested in that guy's story than Jay Kelly's himself. I also have to say there are some flashbacks in this movie, Jay looking over some pivotal, important moments of his life. Some of that I liked. The film really does capture that power of those important moments in your life that are just still so vivid to you. You can just close your eyes and you can see everything about the moment, right? You can see the look of the room. You can see every detail about the other person and stuff. I thought the film captured that nicely, but at the same time, it does slow down the pacing of the narrative. I felt like maybe there's one of those flashback scenes too many. So yeah, I mean, I liked the film. I think you should watch it. There's enough good stuff in this. It's definitely worth a watch. Adam Sandler's good. Billy Crudup is amazing in this. You know, it's got a nice ensemble. It's got nice cinematography. And George Clooney gives a very solid performance, some of his best acting work in years. And I love me a good Hollywood story, especially when it's about kind of the dark side of Hollywood, when you have everything you need and want, and it's still not enough. It's got some nice emotion to the story and some scenes that really soar, that ring true. And, I admired a lot about this movie. Is it one of the best of 2025? No. Does it deserve to get a bunch of Oscar nominations? I mean, I think it's pretty safe in screenplay. Adam Sandler might well get that Oscar nomination, and I won't be mad about that. I have loved Adam Sandler since the 90s. If this is his ticket to an Oscar nomination, I'm happy with that. I just think Billy Crudup, that's the performance in this movie you nominate. He is so freaking amazing in those two scenes. It's one of the best performances I have seen in a long time. I almost wanted him to be in more of the movie. Will Jay Kelly get into picture? I don't know. I feel like a lot of Academy members will respond to this film. It's about actors and the industry and stuff. I feel like even if Clooney misses the actor nomination at the Oscars, I think he's going to. Like, he didn't even get in at Critics' Choice, so I don't think Clooney gets nominated. I think the movie has a shot at a Best Picture nomination. I can see a lot of people in the industry really responding to this story, and that's fine. I like this film. If it gets an Oscar nomination for Best Picture, okay. I don't think it's one of the strongest of the year, though. There's a lot of flaws in this. The Laura Dern character, the ending didn't quite work for me. Some of the flashbacks, I was kind of like hot and cold on those. So a bit of a mixed bag. It's not as good as I hoped it would be, but it's still a very solid film you should check out. I give Jay Kelly a 7 out of 10.